Hey guys, Katie here. How's it going? Today I want to talk about The Passion by Jeanette Winterson. I originally read this book in college, so it's been a really interesting experience to reread the story. When I was in college, it was in one of my favorite English classes, and I think it was Victorian Lit or Victorian Women's Lit. So ever since I joined BookTube, I've been wanting to reread The Passion and be able to talk about it on my channel and show you guys why I loved it so much, and I'm so glad that I finally managed to do it. I'm just really excited. So The Passion is about two young people during the late 1800s, and also during the Napoleonic Wars. One is a young man named Henri who goes into Napoleon's army and actually becomes his personal, chicken retriever. He retrieves the chickens for the cook to cook for Napoleon, and has a lot of interesting experiences through that, including living through the Zero Winter in Russia. The other main character is a young woman named Villanelle who lives in Venice, and her family has this huge myth surrounding them. They're called the Boatmen, and they have webbed feet. So Villanelle's story is mostly about her falling in love with a woman who turns out to be married, and initially actually thinks that Villanelle is a man because she dresses like a man once in a while. Which is why I've mentioned in a couple of my videos that this book looks at gender pretty closely, because Henri is young and scrawny and maybe not exactly a warrior type, so he doesn't really fit in with the army. And Villanelle, on the other hand, is this woman who sometimes likes to be a man and sometimes she likes to be a woman, and falls in love with a woman and has this incredible short relationship with her that just completely impacts her life. The biggest impression that the book actually left on me was Villanelle's story, because there was something so magical about her experience in Venice and Venice itself and the myth about the boatmen. And I think that's definitely a good reason to read the book if you're interested in kind of myths and magical realism. That's definitely something that is in the book. And in terms of historical fiction, this is a really interesting look at the Napoleonic Wars. It's real, but it's not real. There's magic, all sorts of things happening, which makes it a really kind of enchanting read, I would say. I just overall really enjoy reading this book. Another thing that I really love about The Passion is something that I love about all of Jeanette Winterson's books, and that is her writing, which is just beautiful and very poetic. And I think I mentioned when I talked about her book, Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit, she kind of uses repetition and makes the whole book feel like you're reading one long poem, because it's such a beautiful and a poignant kind of statement that she makes in between, everything that's going on in the actual story. So I think that's actually everything I want to say about The Passion. I think it's a really beautiful historical fiction / LGBT read. So if those are some things that you're interested in, I highly recommend it. There's so much to talk about. I know that we spent a lot of time in my class talking about it, but I really don't want to spoil it. I just really would like to recommend it. So if you've read The Passion or any of Jeanette Winterson's work, be sure to let me know in the comments and let's talk about it. I still haven't read all of her books, but it's definitely something that I'm working on. So far, I think The Passion is definitely my favorite, but The Stone Gods was also really incredible. So anyway, that's about it. Let me know if you read The Passion, or if you want to read it. And I hope that this was helpful for you, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!